really say that I have almost fallen in love now with Lagavulin Distillery, not the spirit. I think it's one of the most beautiful places on the island. Wow, that's a statement. So we arrived there, and this whole video will just be about my filming indoors and outdoors a little bit, and not the tour at all. So what happens is I went on to the pier, and it's like, okay, let's film. So that's the distillery. This is the bay that you can see here, and it's actually a beautiful, beautiful bay with some jagged rocks. Um, just just gorgeous. I'm sorry, there's a little ruin of a castle over there. We walked over there in the afternoon after we did our tour as well as the warehouse tasting. You can almost see all of Lagavulin there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually now walk the distance here back up to the distillery. So we have now the nice little pier. Almost every distillery has a pier for some reason. I guess because they're all built in the bay. Why are they built in the bay? Well, because of water. Most of the goods used to be actually shipped in nice little boats, but today they use instead, of course, trucks. So we have these single lane roads on Isla that I was driving with my van that I'd rented, and they were almost too small for me. And then you have this semi truck coming in the other direction. This is my favorite sign of the whole place. So it says, of course, notice this premises are approved by Her Majesty's Revenue Customs. Goods may be held in these premises on which a duty has not been paid. And very, very down in small print, they can jail anyone who breaks the law. So Lagavulin did a wonderful color scheme. So these are the guys here from my group that were there. We were just in awe. We arrived half an hour earlier there before we had to be for the tour. And so they said we could go down the pier and you can finally almost now see the L. Yay, Lagavulin. So we walk by the nice little gate here. Everything's closed off that you're not allowed to walk on. Yellow, nice little pathways so you always knew where you were supposed to be. Here we actually did the tasting with Ian McAllister. He is a great guy. Really loved it. Fabulous, fabulous thing. So this is the courtyard. On the other side, you actually see where some of the tractor trailers are loaded and unloaded. Yeah, and then actually around the turn here, you see this nice little filling station. They bring in the tanker trucks and they fill up the tankers and send them down to Glasgow and Stirling. So there are very, very few barrels filled, very few barrels stored in the island. The chimney, there was 7,000. This warehouse, 7,000. Another warehouse, and down by Port Ellen, there was another 3,000. They can basically do that in about a month and have everything filled up. So everything goes. Diageo has big, major, massive warehouse sites, and everything's stored there. So yeah, we're at the pier. We're gonna go over to the shop and the visitor centers. Beautiful, nice May weather in Isla. It was not very cold, but it was a little windy. Everything's being painted for Fischil. So they had a compressor there. I actually saw the next, about an hour later, the painter was out there spray painting the walls. He sprayed the paints on. Here, actually, I'll take a picture of that later on, and you'll see how beautiful the inside of that that bar actually is. They do tastings there, tasting experiences as well. So the malt mill bar, so great thing. Yep. So it has a little of a cottage look going on there. So we're going to keep on walking over this way and go over to the visitor center. So this was actually available to walk. The sun was shining a little bit later, and actually the white was so bright it almost blinded you. Look, more paint cans! Yay! So a lot of painting going on to make sure everything's nice and pretty for all the guests that are going to be there. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of representatives from the press there as well. So pictures, pictures, pictures. All right, so that's the store. We can't go in there, but we can go through the shop, and here's the exit. So everything felt like it's in 1880, and it has even the American doorknobs here, and we had a mask dispenser. We didn't need those. So you walk in here. This was actually the gathering area for the tasting, so we had to wait for both of our tastings here. There was nice little chairs. Um, Even a little on the other direction, Chesterfield. Here we have our nice little map here about the celebration of nosing. So some Lagavulin bottles, the sailboat, the Chesterfield armchairs. Look at all those people there. Yay. Awards. I don't even know what they won them for. We have a nice little fireplace, wood stove there. So, yeah. So you go down this way through the hall. This next room over here was actually our tasting room where it says manager. It wasn't the manager, it's a tasting room. I was tricked at first. You have some awards they won back in the 90s. So then you go over here to the gift shop. Beautiful gift shop, very quaint, small. And yet that was the general office where the ladies worked, and then behind the desk, and here you had the Lagavulins, a lot of eights, nothing special. There was one distillery exclusive. I actually bought a Coila distillery exclusive, so I thought that was a very unique moment here for me to buy Coila. But it was a first fill bourbon matured as well as a red wine cask that had been refurbished or rejuvenated, as they like to say. Yeah, I think everyone from our group bought something once again from Lagavulin. What else is new? Distillery, Diageo collection there. Yeah, going outside. So as I said, I'm doing this in reverse order normally. So in Lagavulin, normally you would actually go from the parking lot down to the pier. I went from the pier to the parking lot. Please forgive me. So we have the stairs. Once again, there was a wheelchair handicap entrance. So opening times, the shop, the bar, Lagavulin. Always the nice little lines that you can walk in between, and then we can walk over here. The parking lot was to the right, so you'll now actually see the kiln. So that was no longer in use, but it was. We take a look at that in my next video, where they actually went in there and showed us some peat and some kiln, how it used to be done. That used to be the area that they would take the trucks into. They put that now in the back. So the burn, the little stream that runs by there, they do take cooling water from it at this area, and way upstream a little bit in the hills, they actually have a pipeline leading to the distillery that they use to dilute the bottles and dilute the spirit before it's put into the tanker truck. 63.5%, of course. So the water flows through there and into the bay. So now this is a nice little path, which I thought was a great idea. Remind me a tiny little bit of Glen Grant. They have the nice little gardens over there. So they put down chicken wire on the planks on the wooden boards here, so it wouldn't be slippery. Great idea. And if you walk down here, the afternoon we were back over here, and there were dogs over here. So look at that beautiful, beautiful view. You have the chimney, you have the bodegas there, you have then the bay. I literally fell in love with Lagavulin, and it gets better. As a little bit further on, we have a picnic area. We have that nice little, look at that thing in the middle here. You can actually put your drams and just stand around and talk and enjoy the view. And it was very, very nice. So now we're going to look on the left-hand side. We're going to see the pier where I started off at. So I walked from all the way at the end of the pier through the building back over here. Now, there is a pipe underneath there, and I think I have the idea that they actually pumps maybe some of their pot ale into that. They might be actually taking out water. I don't know. If you see through the trees, you can actually see Lagavulin there. Now, next, we're going to go into the bar. I walked into the downstairs areas. There's an upstairs area as well, where you can get different drams. So this is where some of the tasting experiences happen that are in the warehouse. Beautiful. Now, this is after our tours this afternoon. I just had 3 minutes for myself, went back to the pier, went back in the solitude moment of just almost a Zen moment. It was so fantastic. Seeing that bay, seeing the houses, seeing the water, just relaxing and being able to enjoy. On this day, I was a designated driver, so I did not drink anything. All the other people drank, and I did get good driver drams. I must admit they were fantastic, and Lagavulin. So after our warehouse tasting, we actually got in the car and drove over to those houses and walked over here to this ruin of that castle up there. So now we're on the other side of the bay. That's where the ruins are. You can see the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture of Lagavulin. There are two rowboats, that little bit of a peat field there. Isn't that just fantastic? I hope this video has captured a little bit, a tiny, tiny fraction of the beauty of Lagavulin and the distillery and that bay. I must admit, I have been feel very blessed to have seen that and have been part of that day here together. WhiskyJason on tour in Isla. I hope you have enjoyed many of these videos. There are more to come. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.